Not so fast. Let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah, I think our results speak for themselves.
It's all about relationships. When you form the relationships, whether it's within the company or company to client to stakeholder, all of those relationships help form the teamwork. And those two elements within the people help move us forward in the mission. You've got lifelong friendships that occur as a result of this, and you just can't put a value on that.
I think it's great. I think that it's an amazing opportunity to be able to work for such a big company, and it's offered me to meet some amazing people.
I think working for WRPS has been awesome for me as an individual. My management chain, as far as I'm concerned, has done an awesome job.
When I first hired in 1990, I was a senior in high school. I came in as in an intern program.
You know, happy worker, you know, as a productive worker, so.
A lot of good mentors and leaders that saw stuff in me that I didn't even see in myself, that you just go after it because you can do it. And I'm living proof of that, right? A Montana girl out of college, didn't know anything about nuclear facilities, and now I'm running them, so it's a good story.
Yeah, I feel like there's good support from managers and supervisors. I feel like it's a good relationship because we bounce a lot of things off of each other and try to make sure that any foreseeable issues can be taken care of beforehand. And I think we have the same goal, that everybody remains safe.
If you were to take what we do on the Hanford site compared to building a skyscraper, we are multitudes safer than those average construction workers doing any other kind of work outside of Hanford.
I think what makes WRPS stand out in the world of safety is that we have a great safety culture, and that starts with our workforce. I mean, our workforce doesn't just comply with our requirements. They believe in keeping each other safe, keeping themselves safe.
Our employees, I am so proud of them. They speak up when things aren't right, they question it, and I'm proud of our management team for taking those on and responding. We've learned a lot about how not to proceed in the face of uncertainty, but still proceed and find safe ways to get it done.
It really boils down to the Voluntary Protection Program, VPP, where workers are engaged to the level that they want to be. And so we ask for worker involvement so that they can identify issues, problems, improvements, and then they work with management to go make sure that it can be executed.
We are ultra conservative out here, so if somebody thinks that something's not right, we stop everything. We have this thing called stop work, where we can call a stop work. Something doesn't seem right, smell right, feel right, you stop work. We step back, we check it out, we make sure that we don't proceed and put somebody in harm's way.
It's important to have a questioning attitude because you have to make sure that you understand what you're going to go do before you go do it. And if you see something other than that, you need to stop and get it fixed before we can proceed.
What I've seen in general is just a lot of caring about people. And to me, that's what creates a great place to work and a safe place to work. The fact that we've been you know, a VPP star company for a very long time is a testament to the fact that we've created sustaining practices and sustaining programs.
They work hard to keep that, and it's an amount of pride, especially for the company itself, but the workers reap the benefits of that.
We've not only been able to be one of the safest companies in the DOE complex, we have exceeded that by orders of magnitude across industry.
These are aging facilities, and you know, they don't get in better shape the older they get.
It's stored, it's being properly stored, and it's being monitored to make sure that it stays where it's supposed to.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
When WRPS took over in the late 2000s, absolutely a clipboard operation at that time. Not to say that it wasn't effective. Hanford was effective for a very long time doing it in that manner.
The team has evolved even in doing that from when we started in 2008 to now. We have a lot more tools in our tool belt.
We needed a dramatic shift to the way we were doing inspections in our tanks.
We have technology that wasn't even invented when I started in 2015. So as the technology grows, our ability to keep people aware and safe grows.
Over the last 10 years, Hanford and the Department of Energy has made a large investment in secure wireless communications. What we've been able to do, we talked about a clipboard operation, taking that and utilizing now electronic rounds and electronic devices that can leverage the electronic communications so that allows it to be immediately put into a database to access.
One of the paramount considerations of our business is a concept called as low as reasonably achievable, or LARA for short. It's an acronym we utilize. The primary way that plays into our business and tank integrity is that we use a lot of robotic tools to go reduce exposure to our people when they're doing operations that support data gathering in our hazardous environments. So we use robotic crawlers and remote tethered cameras, and we operate them at distance away from the hazards on purpose to reduce the exposure to individuals that are doing the workforce in the field to gather the information. The information is essential. We can develop tools that will ensure that our people are not exposed while acquiring it.
Ventilation to keep the tank ventilated and exhausted while we're doing it. We have in-tank cameras so the workers can see when they're moving the equipment around in the tank.
3D visualization tools now and laser metrology. What that allows us to do is virtual walkdowns to get into the field. We've got 3D technology that's been able to develop 3D models that are now available through a web-based application, so we can reach into those facilities.
Not only have we done the surveillance and maintenance to keep it safe, we've actually taken the foundational steps that put us in a position to where we can actually accelerate our ability to either retrieve or treat and stage and transfer the waste.
We've spent a lot of time in my capacity in Tank and Pipeline Integrity at monitoring the condition of our structures, and as anybody knows, things don't get better with age. Age comes for all of us, and it comes for our structures and components also. And so the more you have an out to go treat waste and eliminate it from the Hanford site, the better off we're all going to be.
From a safe storage standpoint, from a treatment standpoint, from an immobilization standpoint, and then preparing for closure standpoint. And that foundation has now been laid for any future contractor to really come in and utilize that foundation and then apply it to each of these parts of the mission.
When we started the contract, our primary goals has been waste retrieval from the single shell tanks. The last couple of years, that target started moving towards getting ready to feed the VIT plant.
We have a static system where the waste sits in the tanks and it's very safe that way. And we also have dynamic systems when we're transferring waste from one tank to another. And so maintaining the equipment so that it functions the way it's supposed to is critical so that the waste stays in the confinement like it's supposed to and doesn't get out of that.
The DFLAW program, remember, it's more than just what we do at tank farms. It's the whole system for the Hanford site. The waste needs to be treated, and it takes all of the contractors to do that. So for DFLAW, we're responsible for the retrieval of the waste that makes the feed that goes into the treatment system, the tank side cesium removal system, which sends conditioned waste over to the waste treatment plant. Then the waste treatment plant also sends us a recycle stream coming back, which goes through our effluent treatment facility in the 200 East area for the treatment of the secondary waste stream. So all of those systems, in addition to all the infrastructure on the site, have to operate in concert with the waste treatment plant or the system doesn't work.
We've put a lot of emphasis on our tank side cesium removal system, on upgrades to the evaporator, on upgrades down at ETF, so it's got a long life ahead of it to support the VIT plant. So the emphasis has kind of moved from being retrieval heavy in the first, I'd say 12 years of the contract, to more facilities supporting and feeding the VIT plant, DFLAW.
The evaporator is actually very critical in the system, and one thing that we need to remind ourselves of, it's a very old system that's been maintained very well, so it's critical because it helps us manage our tank waste volumes by boiling off the water in the system and allowing us for more tank space, which frees us up to do retrieval of the tanks, and the retrieval of the tanks provides that feedstock that goes into the tank side cesium removal system to treat the waste for WTP.
Tisker's just a great example. It's just so fun to be leading the effort to make glass.
Installation of the fourth and final LRF 41 basin.
I also have ETF, and they've done millions of dollars of upgrades at ETF to be able to support 24/7 and the VIT plant.
Whether it's our tanks or our transfer lines that are moving the waste over there, or anything in between that supports that operation. We have other facilities, of course, as well that are integral to that mission, and DFLAW is a bunch of gears that have to work together to make sure that mission is going to be successful. And so we look at all those pieces and components and make sure they are in appropriate condition and can be serviceable and maintain their integrity throughout their operating life.
We will go up by more than 300 times what we have been doing historically by the number of transfers in a year.
You will actually see all of our systems up and running at one time simultaneously, which they have never done. That would include the tank side cesium removal system, the 242A evaporator, the retrieval and A farms, and also the effluent treatment facility, all running at the same time. That's a pretty big accomplishment, and it's all due to the workforce out there that's doing that work.
It's about treating waste, transferring it out, getting it ready, having it staged so that we can actually disposition it and ultimately do what we're here to do, which is get rid of one of the most significant environmental hazards that this country faces.
It's been an extraordinary privilege to work with WRPS over the years. We simply can't thank the team enough. The support of our community has been heartfelt, it's been genuine, and it's not only impacted students here but across the state. We just simply can't thank you enough for all that you have done.
It's always awesome to have your community behind you with what you're doing, trying to help you succeed in your goal rather than fighting you the whole way. So I applaud the Tri-Cities area and the community for the support they give Hanford.
Our partnership with WRPS has opened a lot of doors, and we couldn't ask for a better partner to help Elite continue to grow in the future.
WRPS is going to sponsor a Women in Business conference, and we're going to do a small business incentive program and a Meet the Buyer program. And we were all just so excited because these were things that we really wanted to do. And now we've been doing them for 12 years, and we've been partnering with WRPS on all of those things for the past 12 years. And they've had a huge impact in the community.
Helped me a lot, and it's also helped me with my schooling because I get to apply what I learn in school.
We will forever be grateful to WRPS. They were the first organization to step up and believe in us and the vision that we had for creating STEM Like Me. That's a suite of programs that serve students and also provide grants to teachers. And if it hadn't been for WRPS, I don't know if we would have got that program off the ground. And yet today, that program serves more than 30,000 students, not just here, but across the state.
Again, it goes back to the partnership of making the community better overall. We're here, we're part of the community. The workforce is the community, whether it's into the educational system, into service, you know, and stewardship, benevolence, whatever that is. It sends a very overwhelming, very strong message that partnership is alive and well. For me, it's all about finishing strong and preparing for the future. Finishing strong is about we have a very discrete set of deliverables under our contract that we're accountable for to the Department of Energy. Our job is to do that with the highest standards that we can and do it in the most efficient way. That's finishing strong. We don't coast to the finish line, we sprint through the finish line.
The future beyond WRPS tenure is going to be a lot of exciting things that are going to be going on. We'll be treating waste at the VIT plant. We're going to be doing our DFLAW mission, or direct feed low activity waste mission. We're going to be operating in new facilities that are going to be installed and developed in the west area, including our WARM project. We're going to be installing new AMPS units in the east area to replace the current TSCR unit, or tank site cesium removal unit. Those are all exciting propagations of our mission forward to move from a capacity of storing waste and monitoring waste to one of eliminating waste.
It's been a pleasure serving here. We've done a ton of great work. You know, like I say, I've only been in Retrieval, but I've seen the groups around me and all the excellent work they've done as well to get the rest of the mission ready to feed the VIT plant. And like I say, I think we're on the doorstep of making them a success as well.
Take your workforce to a new place where you safely do 24/7, where you have the staffing, the training, the processes and the procedures to allow you to be able to safely operate 24/7.
And so we've put a lot of emphasis on our tank side cesium removal system, on upgrades to the evaporator, on upgrades down at ETF, so it's got a long life ahead of it.
The direct feed low activity waste program is critical to the Hanford site because it's now taking us from a storage and maintenance mode into a processing mode where we can relieve the tanks that were not being able to be relieved in the past. Over the last 10 to 20 years, we've been monitoring the tanks, we've been surveilling the tanks, and now we're filling the tanks with retrieved waste product, and we need to get that waste product into a form to send over to the waste treatment plant for final disposition.
This is the first step, and we have a tangible product staged in AP 106 ready to go to the waste treatment plant and make glass. So That is a significant milestone that we haven't seen at the Hanford site.
I think we've left the site in a very good position for the oncoming contractor to proceed ahead.